We're getting the house appraised tomorrow, so I got to,
selling it.
I'll talk to you about it after.
Sure.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA strategy show presented by No House Advantage. Hopefully all of you had a wonderful weekend. Happy Memorial Day. I'm Dave Loughran at Elafi_D on Twitter, LOUGHY_D, joined by Josh Engleman at Josh Engleman. What's going on, brother? Happy Memorial Day.
I know holidays are weird for us, man. They just don't really exist. We don't ever take holidays off or anything like that. So holidays to us are MLB All-Star break, where you get a couple of days of no sports. But yes, happy Memorial Day. Well, I don't know why I'm saying happy Memorial Day to you. It seems kind of weird to say happy Memorial Day to anybody.
There's nothing happy about it, right?
Nope.
But at the same time, I think it's good to recognize the holiday.
100%. Oh, we need a different word to describe like the way that we celebrate, in quotes, this day, because it's also not a celebration. I mean, we've turned it into a celebration, but
you are right, because at the same time, it's like, taking time to honor the fallen soldiers that fought for this country and gave us our freedom. Whether you're in America or another country, you get the point. But you're right, like cooking hot dogs and burgers and stuff. It is an odd way there's no doubt about that. It is a very odd way to quote unquote celebrate such a somber holiday. You're right.
I mean, we're eating rocket pops and making colored Jello shots and stuff, but this is every holiday. One of the holidays that we have is the birth of Jesus Christ, and we've got some dude climbing down chimneys and handing out presents and stuff. We've got the rebirth, I believe.
Easter.
Yep, that was my next one. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Like all of these holidays are rooted in something else that we probably shouldn't talk about, or should talk about more, depending on the person.
Yeah, well, another one. I'll give you another one. What about Cinco de Mayo? Like we're celebrating Mexico's victory over France.
I'll be honest with you. I don't have a damn clue what that's for. Other than
Mexican Independence Day.
Is that real? I could have swore that I just saw something this year where
maybe I think it's
that's September 16th.
It was
you're wrong.
It was over France, but it was like a battle maybe over France, like a big battle against French.
So
French Empire.
For some reason, for this past Cinco de Mayo, I remember seeing someone be like, by the way, you idiots celebrate this wrong all the time. Because I would have said the exact same thing as you.
Hold on. No, I think I'm right. I think it's not the Independence Day, but commemorates the anniversary of Mexico's victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. So I was close.
And it's such an American thing to be like, yo, we're turning it into a party.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just reasons to drink. I mean, don't get me wrong. I told you yesterday, my neighbor invited me over. I started drinking Bloody Marys at 9:30, came home at 8:00 p.m. and we bet on horses all day long and basketball. It was a wonderful day, but there's no doubt that the celebration is in some sense very strange. It's very odd, but that's what we do, right?
Oh, that's my audio. Never mind. I opened up a Cinco de Mayo page and I started hearing like, mariachi band type stuff. I was like, Jordan, don't play that right now.
It would have been a good idea if Jordan came through with something like that too.
Chicano activists raised awareness of Cinco de Mayo in the 60s. So like we weren't even doing this for a hot minute.
Did you drink tequila? Will you rip tequila
like
shots?
In general? I mean, I won't not rip them, but I would prefer to just not do shots in general.
Oh, I love them, man.
I hate it. It's just it's a one-way ticket to like a problematic night morning.
For me, it isn't. What's a problematic night for me is drinking like stiff mixed drinks. You go into vodka Sprite or vodka iced tea, Jack and Coke. Not even Jack and Coke, because Coke's a little bit tougher to get down. But when you're doing like Jack and seltzer, or here's vodka and seltzer, sorry, that's so easy to the point where if you're putting 2-3 shots in there, it only takes a couple hours before you're done.
Yeah, I just try to steer clear of liquor as much as I can, unless it's like a true craft cocktail, something I'm gonna have like 1 or 2 of. Otherwise, I need something. It's probably wine for me at this point. My body doesn't take it anymore.
Oh man, I'll crush a bottle of JMO real quick.
Oh God, Jameson shots during celebrations for soccer is like the only time that it happens for me, and I'm never really excited about it. But it's usually a good thing. So
yeah. Anyway, we got 2 games to talk about. We're happy to have all of you guys with us. As always, hit that thumbs up. First thing you do when you walk, just hit that thumbs up. Help us continue growing this channel, putting out what I believe to be the best free content out there, and subscribe. That's more important than anything, right, Josh? Got to hit that subscribe. Got to help us get to 500 million subscribers within the next, I don't know, year. In all seriousness, hit that subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you hate it, just hit unsubscribe. But, you'll always know when we're dropping new videos, and it's a lot easier to find us.
every single active subscriber that we have has subscribed since I've been here. So I just assume it's a 1-to-1 relationship.
Yeah, that's it. John asked if you did the process show this morning.
I did, I think.
Yeah.
I was there. I don't really remember doing it.
No sleep for you last night watching wrestling, huh?
Yeah, AEW last night, baby. It was a good time. It was a good time. Contenders videos are coming out after this show. I had to go back to sleep. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
I'll be putting out another fantasy football video too. Running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. We're going to be doing a ton of that. If you're into best ball, you got huge best ball contests coming up, like the underdog, 1 million the first, fantasy, dynasty, whatever it is. Got you covered. Putting a lot of time in them. I think you'll enjoy them if you're into fantasy football for sure, which I know I am. And hopefully we can enjoy that together coming up on the football season. You know it's going to be here before we know it, Josh.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Let me be a company man. Yes, it is. And our football product is fantastic. I don't have a promo code. Just come check it out when it's active. Watch all of Laffy's videos. What do you think of this Julio Jones to Seahawks rumor?
Our football product is fantastic, though.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I'd probably lose way more money than I do if I didn't have it.
All right. You ready to dive into this?
What do you think of Julio to the Seahawks, if that's real? Look, it's a 2-game slate, man. I got all sorts of random. At least this is sports.
Sure. I think it's okay. So on a couple fronts, number one, you already have DK Metcalf. You have Tyler Lockett. They drafted Dwayne Eskridge in the 2nd round, I think it was. That's another receiver. Sure. So I'm telling you, yeah, I'm not asking for your confirmation. Trust me. Then you bring in Julio Jones. Would that offense be scary good? Yeah, I just don't know if they need it. Like, is that the right fit? They're talking about him going to the Cowboys too, where you've got CeeDee Lamb, you have Amari Cooper, you have Gallup for whatever that's worth to any people. I think there's other teams, but he wants to go to a competitor. So Seattle definitely has the juice to make that work. You think he actually could land in Seattle?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, I guess it comes, I don't know enough about like the salary cap system in the NFL or like the value of picks and stuff. In theory, to me, like you can end up anywhere. I don't know how any of it works. NFL contracts are like made up and I don't really understand how they work in trades. So
Trells 1999 with the super chat. No words, just a super chat. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, by the way, Premium Slack shouted us out for understanding that there's nothing happy about Memorial Day, a veteran. So he was happy that we understood that, we're not running it into the ground. So shout out to Cream.
All right, Cream. Yeah. And appreciate you serving, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
These days are for people like you for sure. And, people that you may have known. So yeah, that's awesome. And it makes me happy to know that we're not you and I are in the wrong all the time.
Yeah. So permanently.
In a spot like this, I feel good not being completely wrong. You know what I mean? Good.
Yeah, look, again, I'm happy to celebrate this day however they think I should celebrate this day. I don't want to do it wrong. I just feel like whatever we normally do is probably wrong.
Yeah. Well, we're working.
Yeah.
We're working.
I am.
Philadelphia, Washington. And for what it's worth, when we talk about, we're working on Memorial Day or working on this day, that's not a complaint. I can assure you of that. Like,
not
I'd
at
much
all.
rather be doing this and not get Memorial Day or whatever day it is off than not be doing this, right?
Yeah, I would much rather have to work on Memorial Day doing this job than get it off at my previous jobs.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Philadelphia is an 8.5-point favorite, 230 total. We'll get to the Westbrook and Ish Smith news. I'm assuming both of them are active today in the last game they'll play of the season. But Philly's shooting is absurd right now, Josh. I mean, they can't miss. Joel Embiid, even if they double him, is hitting every shot. Tobias Harris has been on like this team right now. I know it's the Wizards, and don't get me wrong. I'm not blowing it out of proportion. I think we both you and I both came into this saying like, they should annihilate them. They should. but they have so far, and they have looked like a pretty dominant basketball team. I think it's tough. Anything can happen, but I think it's tough for the Wizards to be able to steal even a single game in this series with the way that they are completely incapable of slowing them down.
Especially now that you're on the precipice of closing out the series, like getting that extra rest and stuff. Yeah, come out here and kick the shit out of them and like take a break for a bit. This has been a long, grinding season. Get it now while you can. Don't slip up and make this go 5. Finish them off in Washington. Go back to Philly and hang out for a bit.
Yep. Yo, Mark Zumoff had such a great line. The play-by-play guy for Philly. I tweeted it the other day during the game. It's like, when it comes back from commercial and they're like, Xfinity for all of your internet and cable needs, and then like Honda, whatever. Check out the new whatever they're doing now. Hydroelectric Honda Fit. Right. And then they have an image come up because, they'll do the images, the aerial views outside of the stadium. Yeah. And Mark Zumoff goes, oh, the Pentagon. At least there's some defense in Washington, which I thought was a fantastic line. I mean, it really was a good one-liner.
Oh, that's really good. That is really good.
Really good,
I mean, their defense has been non-existent. 11th percentile, 17th percentile, and 32nd percentile over the 3 games so far.
Trash.
Not great.
Yeah, just absolutely terrible. It's funny too, because like the Clippers defense had been largely awful. But a lot of that was seriously, if you watch those games, and I did, Dallas couldn't miss from 3. And then they started missing from 3 because what they were doing was entirely unsustainable. They were shooting 52% from 3, 2.5 games into the series. It's ridiculous.
I wish I could find the tweet. I probably saw it like an hour ago. I might have to scroll through it, but like the expected field goal percentage based on where they took those shots has been the same games 1, 2, 3, and 4. It just so happens like game 1 and 2 was absolutely on fire shooting, and then they didn't go in game 3 and 4.
Yeah. What was the final score last night?
Nothing good, man.
Just got the Clippers are going to win this series, just so everyone's clear. They're going to win.
Yeah, probably, which sucks. But I'm also happy. In a way, I'm happy about it. It's different for Luka because he's a guy that I would like to go as far as possible because I think that he could actually drag teams to be better than they actually are.
The rest of
he's got that like LeBron gene.
Sure, but the rest of that team just is not very good, and Porzingis has not played well.
That sucks. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, let's go. I mean, this is a basketball show, right? What's anybody else doing today?
Right, exactly. It sucks that he's not healthy because I think the league is a better place. I don't mean Luka with the shoulder neck impingement thing. Porzingis not being, I don't even want to say like what he was supposed to be, but just being like a legitimate second banana. It sucks for the league that didn't work out because the two of those guys as like the tip of the spear for Dallas just makes the entire product of the NBA better.
It's a very good point. Yeah, that would be a really fun tandem to watch for years to come.
Right. Boban, like they fit together perfectly. They've got complementary skill sets. It just would have been another team with a big 2 that's legit. And now it doesn't look like that's the case.
I'll say this much though. Boban getting some run in a postseason game made me very happy. He had 12 and 6 in 14 minutes. It's just
I want to hang out with that man.
Oh God. You want to talk about someone that is not only a gift to the NBA and to all of us who have watched, because that's just a fact. There's no denying that he is, but he's just a gift to mankind. The guy is like the most lovable, freakish looking giant you'll ever see in your life. And he's funny. It seems that everybody loves the guy. I would hang out with Boban in a heartbeat. I mean, it would be fantastic. You're right.
Everybody, every team, there's nobody's ever just like, that guy's an asshole. Nope. Everybody is just like, he's a cherished commodity
absolutely everywhere you go. And Tobias Harris and his relationship is great as well. Yeah.
Like, I love seeing him and Luka. Like he's always like face palming Luka and stuff out of nowhere, just doing really ridiculous shit. He's like big brother, little brother type stuff.
He's awesome, man. He's so cool. I loved having him in Philadelphia. I really did. I'm not acting like it was plus EV in terms of winning basketball games, but I didn't really care. Just get him out there.
He's great to have in the regular season. 15th man, get out there, mess some stuff up every once in a while, play him like 8 to 10 minutes a game. Like there's going to be value in that against every team during the regular season because you can't get ready for it.
For sure. So what do we do with the 76ers today, Josh? They are big road favorites. Again, they're up 3-0 in the series. I think you and I both assume they handle business tonight against Washington Wizards. Let's start with Joel Embiid, whose price keeps coming down. And I'll add this and then let you run with it.
Okay.
His price is coming down because he hasn't had to play any significant minutes. I mean, do you realize he had 36 and 8? He had 58 fantasy points in 28 minutes last game. He averaged over 2 fantasy points per minute in that third game. So Joel Embiid has not, by any stretch of the imagination, played poorly. He just either hasn't had to do a ton or he hasn't had to play a lot of minutes.
I don't want to derail this conversation again. This is very much on point, but I am going to stop from talking about Embiid and shout out Trells for the super chat. Said he won first place 200K contest on FanDuel last night. Celtics lineup worked out for him. So beautiful. Trells, congrats, man. Didn't want that to slip through the cracks as we went going, but congratulations.
Yeah,
go Celtics.
Awesome. I love seeing
that scenario. Yeah. Look,
Joel Embiid.
10-2 on FanDuel, 9,500 on DraftKings. Picking up 45% ownership across both sites, and I'm cool with it. Like, what more do you want in this scenario? He's going to dominate Washington. The only worry for Joel Embiid is the center position for today and whether or not Philly just beats the brakes out of them and Joval and or Rudy Gobert just becomes a more efficient center for today. Because there's no denying that Joel Embiid is, if not the best play of the day in terms of raw points, the second best probably behind Russ. So I like getting to him, but it just feels a little bit easier to want to go to Gobert or Joval, save a little bit of salary, pay up elsewhere. But oddly enough, we have a lot of pay down options today. And I think that's going to really impact lineup construction for the first time in what feels like all of the playoffs. Way more dudes in that sub 4,500 range today. So much so that I think that it brings Russ into play at 11K, and I didn't expect that today.
Yeah, that makes sense, and we'll get to him once we go over to the Wizards. But with Joel Embiid, I mean, honestly, at this point, it's can he get enough minutes? Can he get starters minutes here? And I have no issue. There's zero doubt in my mind, Josh, that if the game's close, Joel Embiid is clearly going to play a lot of minutes. In game one, he played 30 because he had 3 fouls in the first half, played less than 11 minutes. They won by 25 in game two. And they won by 29 in game 3, where he played 26 minutes. He hasn't needed to play considerable minutes. Picture this. The game's competitive. They have a chance to knock the Wizards off, go home with a sweep, have the longest layoff and rest of any team. Now, for some other time, we can debate whether that's a good or bad thing, because I think you can make a decent argument in either direction, depending on how long the layoff is. But let's just assume that they know they can go home after this and get a rest. Some of these series are going 7 probably.
Who do they have?
They have Hawks or Knicks, and that game,
right.
Maybe it won't go. Like the Knicks have looked awful the past couple of games. Julius Randle can't pull it together, and if he doesn't, they're going home next game. Yeah. Right? But anyway, point is, Joel Embiid can play huge minutes here in a game that they could pull off and get the sweep. And then he doesn't have to play much, or he doesn't have to play at all for another week or however long it goes. And he hasn't had to play much in this series anyway. So there's no reason to limit him if the game's close. It's just, will the game be close?
Oh, no. If this game is competitive, they're Simmons, Harris, they're playing 36, 38 minutes if they have to. Embiid's probably playing 36, potentially more if they have to. He's not I wouldn't be trying to give him extra run in the first half. That's for sure. There's no incentive for it, but just play him. I mean, he's like a 1.5 fantasy point per minute guy in a massive pace up spot against the Wizards. I think all of his ownership right now is full on proper. I don't really have much else to say about him. It's some of the other guys for Philly that look just downright exceptional today.
Yeah. Talk to me about the second and third options on this team in terms of salary, not necessarily usage rate. Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons.
I was going to say, I'm ready to talk to you about the fourth option on this team. That would be Seth Curry.
Yeah, sure. But let's get through these other, if there's anything else you want to add on these two.
Oh yeah. That's fine. Look, I like Harris. I like Simmons. Simmons is 7,900 on DraftKings. And then FanDuel was like, nah, we're going to price him up a bit. He's 8,800 on FanDuel now. But I think that's actually a benefit. As I mentioned before, I do think that there's a little bit more value out there today for this 2-gamer. I think Ben Simmons is, I don't want to say pay up to be contrarian because he's 33% owned on FanDuel already at 8,800, but I think that's actually too low of a number. So I think Simmons even looks better on FanDuel at a GPP in GPPs because of the increased salary. It appears to be keeping people away from him. 7,900 on FanDuel to me is still a no-brainer. Harris is still a no-brainer, but I think he's properly owned across both sites. I would say that I probably don't want all three of them in a lineup, but on a 2-game slate, I don't even necessarily feel comfortable setting that kind of rule. If it happens, it happens. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that I think you find value in Seth Curry across both sites, Danny Green across both sites. There's some value in that mid fours to even Seth Curry on FanDuel at 3,700 playing north of 30 minutes. I mean, I have him in the optimal lineup north of 50% of the time. There's a lot to like for Philly because of this matchup.
Yeah, there really is. There's no defense here whatsoever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The Philadelphia Phillies, 76ers, sorry, have a 61.2 effective field goal percentage in this series, Josh. 61.2. Like, it's a pretty absurd number when you think about it. It's 3% higher than anybody else on any other team. So like, they've just been shooting remarkably well. And when you're opening things up for guys like Seth Curry and he's getting clean shots, which he has been, you could have some decent games from him. I'm not saying he's going to blow the doors off of the rest of or everyone else in his price range, but I do think at that price range, there's a lot of value to be had there. He should probably be a little bit more expensive, just given how well they're operating and how many easy open looks he's getting every night against the worst defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do want to point this out, and this shouldn't be all that surprising given it's a 4-game slate, but I've got 2 Sixers in the optimal on DraftKings, like by default. That's the expectation. So 3 or 4 is not outside the realm of possibility. They were very prevalent in my cash lineup crunches on the process this morning.
What do you make of George Hill if this game stays close? Does he get 22, 23 minutes? Is there something to be said about George Hill being decent enough, or any of these other cheaper options on the 76ers that might get decent minutes but aren't really spectacular per minute guys?
I don't think so. He would be the best of everyone else as far as I'm concerned. Although I do like Thibault on FanDuel because of the extra point for steals, because that dude's just out of his mind. But George Hill for 3,200, if he can get to that 20, 21, 22 minute range, that'll be great. He's been pretty bad from a fantasy perspective, 0.67 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. I've got him in for about 0.7 in this matchup because of the pace up spot, but he's already at 17% ownership. I have him at about 12. So I think that he's going a little bit over owned, but I do think he is the best of everybody else from Philly. Let
me ask you a question here. I'm very interested to know what you think. First of all, would you agree that Matisse Thybulle defensively is like absurdly good for being a young player?
On a staggering level.
Right. Okay. So like elite level defense, second year pretty much already.
Yeah. He's one of there's a really good chance that he's first team all NBA after playing like 18 minutes a game this year.
It's crazy. Right. And that's why I've always talked about, like, Doc will throw him out there to close games and he'll sacrifice offense if he wants to get a stop, because Matisse Thybulle is scary good defensively. He's everywhere. He's so bad offensively though, Josh. Like, take how good he is defensively and pretty much just reverse that for what he's able to do offensively. So what I wanted to ask you is if he could shoot, say, 40% from three, he's a 30% 3-point shooter this year, and average 10 points per game, could he be a starter on a elite level basketball team?
If he shot 40% from three, he'd be a max player.
I think so. I think he'd be.
Duncan Robinson's about to get $20 million a year for playing no defense and making 40% of his threes. Obviously a different level of gravity, but if Matisse Thybulle can shoot 40% from three on mildly decent volume, he will be making $25-30 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think.
Think about what OG Anunoby gets paid.
It's a good point. Yeah. Like,
you would be better than that.
If he wasn't a total liability offensively, you could give him 35 minutes a game and just stick him on the best player every single night.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. He's a strange player, but man, is there upside there in him? Not for DFS purposes, unless of course he rips off 9 stocks again.
What's really crazy is he would fit this Sixers lineup so much better if they didn't have Ben Simmons. Like, if Ben Simmons got turned, like if you flipped Ben Simmons into Bradley Beal, had more shooting on the outside, Thybulle becomes an even bigger piece of that He fits better in an offense and defense because of it.
Because that liability means so much less now, because you've got Harris, you have Embiid, who's actually knocking down threes at a consistent rate this series. That's probably Washington. And then you'd have a Bradley Beal type. Let's just slot him in at the point guard position. Even if you had a Seth Curry, right? And then he's another outside shooter. And then you have Matisse Thybulle. Yeah, you're right. That could be absolutely deadly.
He shot 31% from, obviously there's no volume here, but he shot 31% from three this year. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, look, he shot 36% last year. So it's not crazy, but he just
for the record, just so everybody knows, since everybody thinks he's incredible, Russell Westbrook also shot 31% from three this year. So that was the best year he's had in 4 years.
He's a bad offensive player. There's no doubt about that. Do you have anything else for the Sixers? Do you think the problem with Dwight Howard is if Dwight got 18 minutes or even 16 minutes, I could probably make a decent argument to you on a 2-game slate that Dwight Howard is very, very viable today. The problem is I can't predict that Embiid's only going to play 26 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they also don't have to just give those minutes to Dwight Howard either.
And they didn't the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's where the issue comes in, because Mike Scott can just as easily do it. I mean, Paul Reed's seen the floor in blowout time over the past 2 games. I didn't even know he was on the goddamn playoff roster. So,
yeah, oh yeah, Paul Reed, dude, they've gone deep. Tyrese Maxey's getting minutes now. He's legitimately cracked the rotation in non-blowout spots.
Yeah, did not expect that given the way that he would just not get minutes when 4 guys were out during the regular season. So thanks a lot to Doc for that one. Oh, Milton's out and Simmons is out and Curry's out. I got to assume Maxey's playing 30 minutes and then he plays 6. And it's just okay, thanks, man. What's the point of all of this? But yeah, he's playing now. At least he's cutting his teeth against Washington.
Ryan with the super chat says, I just watched the process. And when Josh said, enjoy your beer, coffee, joint, or cigarette, I was smoking a joint and a cig, it looks like, and drinking coffee. That's an interesting combination. I would hope they were in succession and not together. That would be odd and just kind of make it a lot worse. Yeah, I don't think that'd be enjoyable. That would even hurt the lungs, even for somebody like myself. Josh, anything else for Philly, or we want to talk to Wizards?
Play a lot of Seth Curry on FanDuel. Play a lot of Ben Simmons and Danny Green on DraftKings.
Okay. 371 watching, 76 likes. We're 76. That's fitting for a day like today. But we got to get that up to 100. We're 24 away from 100 likes. Hit that thumbs up button. Don't shame us here. All of your help is appreciated, helping us get where we got to go. So get us to 100. Let's talk about Washington. And by the way, if you guys ever don't have I can't watch on YouTube, don't want to leave your phone open, or for one reason or another, maybe you don't even like YouTube, we are available in podcast form. All of our sports you can check out, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's Spotify, you name it. Check it out there. And if you leave a rating and review and leave your Twitter handle or your email on it, every single Friday we give out a week of Awesemo Plus, Platinum, everything on the site. When you do that, leave a rating and a review. Put yourself in a spot to get a free week as well. But yeah, you want to check anything out in podcast form, we got you covered over there on the Awesemo podcast platform. Josh, Russell Westbrook, you already kind of highlighted that he could be someone we get to even at 11,000 today. Talk to me about that thought process.
Yeah, so it's more of a FanDuel thing than a DraftKings thing, because I think 11K is a little heavy on DK, especially in this matchup, especially for the way that I expect it to go. He's pulling 42% ownership on DK, and I'm not surprised by it just because of how much value I saw, but I don't necessarily agree with it. On FanDuel, where there are really good pay down options, not at point guard, it makes getting to Russ at 11K pretty easy from a raw points perspective, because you still have to take 2 point guards. So I like him a lot more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. But what I really want to get to from Washington is the value. Rui, 4,600 across both sites. You, 3,900 on FanDuel, 3,700 on DraftKings. Moved into the starting lineup for Game 3, assuming that happens again. I see the value as better options for Washington. Beal is Beal. I don't really have a hot take on Beal. I think he's properly owned. But I like Rui a lot, and I like Bertans a lot today.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you, Davis Bertans is awful, Josh. I mean, at this point, it's gotten to a point where our own friend and fellow Awesemo coworker, Adam Scher, I'm assuming, he was at the bar the other day. So I'm assuming that,
good assumption.
I'm assuming that emotions were heightened to some extent, right? And maybe judgment was dulled. But man, was he pissed at Bertans. He goes, the only player I've ever tweeted at is Davis Bertans. He was so pissed at that post-game presser where he goes, well, I think I'm paraphrasing. I'm just going off what Adam said. He's like, sometimes my shots just don't fall. And Adam's saying, you're getting paid, what is it, 4 years, 80 million or something. And that's your excuse. Sometimes my shots just don't fall. Boy, was he pissed.
I'm team Bertans on that one, but that should be no surprise.
Well, I mean, if I went, I'm team Bertans here. I think sometimes the shots don't fall. You'd say, what an asshole this guy is.
No.
So I want to hear when you're in the playoffs and you're getting paid a ton of money, and then I don't begrudge anyone for getting paid. I say take as much money as you can get, right? Why not? This won't last forever. Meritocracy. And in this case, I mean, maybe Washington missed out a little bit and the meritocracy went rogue, but I'm all about you getting the money no matter who you are. But at the same time, like, I want to hear when you have a horrible game, if I'm a fan, I want you to be like, dude, I sucked today. There's a lot of players out there that take this. They would say, man, I was terrible. I have to be better. In the long run, does it mean anything? Does it matter? No. But when you've been at the bar all night and you hear something like that, you're not going to be very happy.
The problem for someone like Bertans, and this might not actually help my point at all, but I'll throw it out there anyway, is that it's hard for him to actually be better. Like when push comes to shove, his shots just need to fall. Like that's the only thing he's going to be doing out there. He's right. Like that's the only way that you can describe, like it's hard for him to be quote unquote bad. Either he's making that three or he's not. You're not looking for him to do anything else on the floor. So in the grand scheme of things, the only way to sum up his performance is like, this is one of those days it didn't go in.
Right. And it's like, hey, this is one of those years where it didn't go in.
Years? Come on now.
He's been bad, man. He's been bad.
I'm not saying that he's been good, but like, let's not act like he just came out here and shot like he was Russell Westbrook.
The truth is he did play 31 minutes last game. And he stunk. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was
shot 40% from three this year.
I know.
What a clown.
I know, but he has been, look, in this series, you played 31 minutes. He had 0 rebounds, essentially 0 statistics outside of 8 points in 31 minutes. It has been a rough go. In game 2, he played 24 minutes, and Jordan just sent me this meme. It had been circulating the internet a lot recently. 0 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 blocks, 0 steals, 6 personal fouls on 0 for 4 shooting across 24 minutes. That's as bad as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, look, it doesn't help that Washington is one of the worst offenses in the league. So that's certainly not going to help him create that extra spacing.
Rui
if only they had a point guard that was good.
Yeah. Rui hasn't been good either. Well, it's not even that he's been inefficient. It's just there's no volume there at all.
You want to know how bad Bertans has been? Last 30 days, FanDuel fantasy points per minute?
0.48?
0.55.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, not good at all. So he has one
Either
job.
way, I think he's a fantastic play today. And honestly, I think he's the best wizard on DraftKings.
All right. Like, I'm not going to argue the fact that he's going to play a lot of minutes, and there will be one day where the shots start to fall. I've been saying that about
next season.
Yeah, I've been saying that about Bertans for a while though. Like I've been playing Davis Bertans even into the regular season. But
has he been telling you that sort of stuff on like your family text chain and stuff?
So now he's not me. He just looks like me, and he's part of my family. Is that where we're going?
You're twin brothers, aren't you?
Yes, that's where we've gone now. We're twin brothers.
Yeah, you're like his Cliff Paul.
There's 0 resemblance there whatsoever. Anything else for Washington? And do you want to hit on Beal or Westbrook anymore up top?
I don't have much to say on Beal. 9,600 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings. He's pulling like 40-something% ownership, and that is spot on to me across both sites. You just play him. Russ is just the tricky one because of that salary. If we're projecting him for north of 40% ownership on DraftKings, I believe that is incorrect ownership and that you should have significantly less.
Okay.
FanDuel, I think it's warranted.
1 game up, 1 to go. Let's make it happen before we do. Let's cue that Hall of Fame music, Jordan, and show off what's going on with all of the Awesemo subscribers and viewers. Even if you're not a paid subscriber, it doesn't matter. As long as you're viewing using that Awesemo avatar, we want to get you up here and show you what's going on. Download the Awesemo avatar profile or at awesemo.com/avatar, the profile pic. Throw it up, whether it's Draftkings, FanDuel, Yahoo, you name it, okay? If you finished first through third in a field of 5,000 or more, you will get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. It's a $100 value, including ownership, player projections, the top stack tool, boom bust, top pitchers tool for baseball, you name it, lineup builder, everything included for free, totally free. All of the tools built by Alex Baker, Awesemo himself, #1 ranked DFS player in the world for a reason. He uses these tools. Everyone uses these tools, and I'm assuming a lot of these people that are showing up in the Hall of Fame page also use these tools. Start with Michael Peterson. Says, thanks, Team Awesemo, for the data and hard work you guys do to make my DFS experience much more fun. Nice work there, fella. Pickens, 81. Next one up, you've got Wayne Shags. Wayne Shags?
I bet he shags, man. After that win.
After that win, he does. Third place, $600. In the MLB four-seamer. And then you've got Ben P. Unlike the other day, this one was 5,000 plus entries. Congrats on that free win, Ben, because you got the Awesemo avatar, probably my best finish in the DK Mini Max. And then, yeah, our boy Chris Spags, congratulations. Or I'm sorry, no. Peter Hanley, again. This guy, I don't know what's going on, but this is absurd.
He's ruining my mentions each morning. It takes me forever to get through Twitter because this dude just wins like 27 tournaments a day.
I see it. I'm like, all right, P. Hanley, good job.
I'm going to have to mute him soon just so I can make my way through my mornings.
Another $4,000 win, third place. And he has the gall to say, if you're not first, you're last. Come on. Anyway, congrats, Peter. And then last up, running this one for a bit, our own Chris Spags, $53,000. Chopped that 3 ways the other day, the $500,000 shoot around. Congrats, brother. 340 points going to Spags, 53K atop on DraftKings. Use that avatar. Go to awesemo.com/avatar. Get your free month. Finish top 3. Plus, you win money and you get featured up here, and we get to brag about whoever it is that's getting big wins each and every day. All right, Josh, the Utah Jazz. Let me tell you, that game against Memphis was fantastic, and the Grizzlies are they are a scrappy team. I don't care what happens in this series. That team has my respect top to bottom. Dylan Brooks, if he wasn't fouling out every game, he'd be even better, but he can play.
Have you seen the meme for him that's been making the rounds with Danny Green?
Please tell me.
They're calling him Evil Danny Green.
Who, Brooks?
Yeah, they look like pretty identical.
Do they? You think?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
enough that it makes them. Yeah, enough that it's kind of funny.
Let me see.
If you search, it's on Instagram. Maybe Jordan can find it. I don't know how to do that. But Evil Danny Green.
I guess I see it a little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
But he's not. Look, I'm a big fan of what he's bringing to the table. He's probably a bigger detriment to a team once they become really good. If he's playing like 36 minutes a game, but that dude is someone you want on your roster at all times.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And the truth is, when it comes to Brooks, there is an element to his game that is highly concerning, and that is the fact that he fouls at an alarming clip. I mean, I think he fouled out more than anyone in the league, or second most in the league, just in an absurd amount of fouls. Averages 4.3 per 36. Last year, 4.7. The year before that, 5.5. This guy has consistently gotten himself into trouble, and that sucks because if that's not happening, you're going to be getting even bigger games from him. But he's been he fouled out last game. He had 5 fouls the game before that, 2, 5, 5, 6. Like, it is crazy how often he is in foul trouble.
Oh yeah. I mean, he makes Jaren Jackson look like he never gets in foul trouble. 5th percentile this year, 5th last year, the 0 percentile, which I'm not sure that I've ever seen on Cleaning the Glass in the year before that, just fouling constantly. Look, he's going to be best deployed in the future when Memphis gets good as like the 8th man on this team, because he's not particularly efficient. He's going to have to become a bench scorer. He's like an overcast energy guy, which is fine, but when they get a better version of him and he comes off the bench, he's going to be a problem against second units.
No doubt about it. Yeah, he's a good scorer. And he is really quick. I was watching this explosiveness to get to the basket. It is very impressive. So I like him. We'll talk about the Jazz first, though. And Jordan Klein, producing the show behind the virtual glass, just threw up that comparison of Danny Green and Dillon Brooks. I don't really see it, to be honest with you. Like,
oh, interesting. I saw it this morning when I was scrolling through, and I thought it was hilarious.
Dillon Brooks has a much wider face, but you're the same person that thinks I look like Davis Bertans. So yeah, they look nothing alike. Danny Green, nothing.
It's not really about it's sure. Okay. I don't have the energy for this one because I don't care enough about Dillon Brooks.
You know what it is? They both have a goatee.
Sure.
So there you go.
That's what it was, probably.
Yeah. It really doesn't matter. This isn't an argument that can be won. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying. I don't see it.
It's Dillon Brooks and Danny Green. Like, we've already talked enough about these two idiots.
What do you think of Donovan Mitchell? Let me credit this guy too, because Van Pelt after the game was like, he asked him about this and this coming back from injury, and he's like, "Hey, but you played well." And he's like, "Let me be honest with you. No, I didn't. I did not play well, but I will play well." And personal responsibility, Davis. Take notes. No, really though. Donovan Mitchell, 23 attempts last game, only played 30 minutes. Do you like him here coming into this one against the Grizzlies?
More so on FanDuel, where you got a roster 2 at each position, than on DraftKings. I think I'm having trouble squeezing a ton of value out of Utah. To me, they just look good, not great. If I'm looking at anybody on the DraftKings side, it's probably Mike Conley at 7K. He is the second most owned Jazz guy as of right now, but I think he's going a little bit under owned. 7K just doesn't seem like enough. He is playing the extended minutes, and I just don't think that they're going to like fully open up Mitchell yet. Played 29.8 minutes in the last game out. I think the ceiling is probably something like 32 as of right now. This is game 4. If they pick up a win here, it's really not going to matter all that much. But Conley played 36 minutes the last game, 37 the game before that. I've actually only got him in for 35 today. And if he hits that number, I think he's probably the best value coming out of the Jazz.
Ed Monk 777 says Laffy looks like Lillard. Let me tell you something. I know I'm white. Last I looked. But I mean, that's the greatest compliment anyone could ever get. Dollar Dame. Whoo. Need not pull up any pictures. We'll just take it and go. You remember was this on the deeper dive?
How is that a compliment?
What?
How is that a compliment?
What do you mean?
You're telling me there's not a better compliment than looking like Dame Lillard? Yeah, I'd like to look like someone that looks good.
Damian Lillard's a handsome fella. What are you talking about?
They're not saying that you look like his skills.
Wait, what?
If I looked the way he shoots threes, then I'd be really excited about that. But if you're telling me I look like he looks, that's not, I'm not winning anything here.
Oh, you're winning. Oh, you're absolutely winning. Now, if someone told me I looked like Davis Bertans, I'm not winning.
Yeah, but that's true.
And if someone told me I looked like Davis Bertans shoots threes, I'd run out in front of a truck.
See, that would be better for you then. If you look like his ability to shoot threes, that would be a benefit. I don't want to look like Dame.
Now you're just jealous. You want the Bertans thing to make yourself feel better. Oh, God, get over yourself, man. What are you doing with?
I'm right here. 100% right.
Can I say it's hilarious though when people think there's an actual issue, especially like on the deeper dive where I'll talk shit and everything. It's amazing. And you're not.
Because then I'll lead off live before lock talking the same shit.
Yeah. And then you and I'll of course be DMing and be like, that went well. So yeah. Do you like Rudy Gobert today?
I do, but so center is like the kind of the low-key trickiest thing you've got to do today. You've got Joval, you've got Rudy Gobert, and you've got Joel Embiid. Like that is what we've got to do at center today. And that's kind of it. Here are the other centers that you could roster on FanDuel today, at least. Alex Len, Dwight Howard, Derek Favors, Robin Lopez. Good luck with that. So one of those three guys, I assume, is going to be the essential rostered center for the day. I don't feel very confident separating those guys from each other. And I think part of the construction will be like, if you get to Embiid, you're probably paying down a little bit elsewhere. If you get to Russ, you're probably not going to Embiid. You're probably going to the other pieces of the Sixers. So it gets kind of tricky there. But I do like Gobert. I have him as a neutral play on FanDuel to his current ownership, and I have him as a neutral play on DraftKings according to his current ownership. I don't really have much else to say there. And I don't want to say that it's a tough matchup against Joval, but they obviously take away from each other in this game. It's hard to want to get to obviously on DraftKings, you could roster both of them. I don't know if I love that sort of idea. So you really got to think about Gobert in how often do you think he is a better play than Joval?
That's a fair way to look at it. So I was cracking up reading a comment that there was really nothing to it. But it was just, sometimes when we get derailed here, certain people appreciate it, other people just don't, and other people make fun of it, which is great. Norman Ross goes, "Man, we going down, LOL." And that's kind of just what happens. Like the ship goes up and just starts slowly sinking.
Yeah, we hit the iceberg at like 10:05.
Yeah. Some people look for life rafts. Other people just hang on, and other people, come along for the ride. But no, I think those are. What were you going to say?
I'm just going to sit on this one, I think.
Okay.
I think I've got a really good Titanic joke, but we're going to let it go.
Yeah. I mean, not a good day for that, Josh.
What does that have to, no ties whatsoever, man.
Just not a good day.
No tie for it.
There's still survivors of the Titanic out there today.
Yeah, man. Leo and Kate.
Many of them. Oh, by the way, Kate.
No, I can't. No. I haven't seen it yet.
When she dies in episode 7. Oh, you didn't see it?
Kill you. I hate you so much.
I
hate you so much. I know you didn't spoil anything right now, but I don't trust chat.
Total accident. She died.
I closed YouTube. It's fine.
She dies. It's not great. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Can I say though, it's awesome. It's awesome. But you won't like it because you didn't like True Detective season 1, which is literally the most egregious television take in the history. I hope chat tears you apart for that because of how absolutely incredible it was. That tweet got
never know.
Likes all over True Detective season 1, and you're out here saying I couldn't even get through the first few episodes.
Never finished it.
Ugh.
I didn't like McConaughey, man.
Oh God, that's even worse. Him and Woody Harrelson were stellar.
Yeah, those are not the two guys that I want cracking my cases.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
No, man, I can't have Wooderson out here trying to solve murders.
So you have Mitchell, Conley, and Gobert up top. Look, seamless transition. Yeah. Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson's price point has come down. His minutes have been very low recently in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
22 and 22 minutes. That's honestly, even with Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley healthy, it's a little surprising. I thought Clarkson would be pulling at least 25, 26 minutes in the postseason.
So I'm not totally shocked, but it is a little tiny bit surprising. I just don't see a scenario where you're putting him in the closing lineup at this point. And if he's not going to be in the closing lineup, he's never really going to pick up that extra run that he needs. He's kind of just trapped into your normal standard backup run. Like, who are you taking out of their lineup in order for Clarkson to pick up the extra minutes? It can't be Royce O'Neal. So it has to be Boyan in this scenario, because I'd be going to Ingles before I would be going to Clarkson. Ingles, by the way, got robbed in that 6-man award, but that's neither here nor there.
You think Ingles did?
Yeah. I don't think it's close either.
I don't. It just, he would have been like the basketball snobs pick for sure, but you're not going to get that type of pick. You know,
shot 46% from 3 this year.
Yeah. He was good. Clarkson shot a solid 34%.
Yeah. Super solid.
Are there any priorities for Utah?
Boyan Bogdanovich on FanDuel at 5,600 because of the position. He's picking up 45% ownership right now, which is the highest mark by a lot on Utah. And I actually think that is slightly low. I think Conley would be the priority on DraftKings.
So last game, if Memphis was going to win, it was going to be because they were crushing the offensive glass, which actually surprised me, right? Especially with Rudy Gobert out there. They were crushing the offensive glass. Jaren Jackson actually looked like the type of guy that when he's on the floor that, has a ton of promise. And Joval had a ton of offensive rebounds as well. I think on the day they had 18 offensive rebounds on the game, which is beautiful. Memphis, I think Utah had like 7. So more than doubled them up. But they couldn't convert the second chance points, man. There were possessions where they'd have like 3 offensive rebounds and come away with no points at all. You can't win like that when you're getting those opportunities and squandering them. But when it comes to the Grizzlies, I think Ja Morant here is going to play, massive minutes again. Dillon Brooks, if he's not in foul trouble, and I say that seriously, like I don't know if he will or won't be, he's going to get up a ton of shots. And then Joval, they need him out there, especially on the glass, where he's been very good in 2 of 3 games. So talk to me about the top tier of this Memphis team today against a good Utah defense.
Yeah, so I love Ja today, 8,200 on FanDuel, 8,400 on DraftKings. I've got him in for 39 minutes. I even think that he could play a little bit more than that. He's one of my highest owned guys for the day. Jaren Jackson is 5,700 on FanDuel. I think he fits the position really well today. He's another guy that I'm trying to very heavily prioritize on FanDuel. Here are the power forwards that you can roster today on FanDuel. Tobias Harris, obviously, fantastic. Jaren Jackson, the guy that I think is the second best option. Royce O'Neal, Bertans, Gafford, Brandon Clark, and George Niang. Not a lot there, man. You're probably playing only 4 of those dudes with any sort of real volume. So I'm going to get to Jaren Jackson quite a bit just because of the way the position is set up. I like him on DK at 54, but I think he's properly owned. And then the guy that I think is getting the least amount of love from Memphis is Grayson Allen at 3,600. Saw the minutes bump the last time out. Even if he only gets to like 24 today, he's at 3,700. That is a value piece that I think allows you to get to some of those bigger pay up options today. I think he's going pretty significantly under owned at just 21% ownership.
Yeah, it's very possible. He played really well, and that's one of the reasons that Taylor Jenkins left him out there. Like he was having a very solid game, not just as a 3-point shooter, but crashing the basket and getting some really solid buckets. Like I was very impressed by what I saw. Do I think he's a lock to get 30 minutes again? No, absolutely not. I don't. But what I mean by that, Josh, is he played 10 and a half minutes to close out the fourth, and then about 7 minutes to close out the third. He took a minute and a half break. I think it was a minute and a half break. So he played a lot of minutes in that second half to close out the game. How many minutes are you giving him today? 24?
Yep.
Okay. See, that's where I would put him as well. And I think that's perfectly fine. Did you hit on Jaren Jackson yet?
Just on the FanDuel side, to me, he's fine on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I went through that entire power forward position for you, if you remember.
Yeah. I'm talking, I heard you said the Tobias Harris, you got this, you got that. I'm with you. I'm just curious if 5,400, if that's viable. You're saying it's just okay. I asked because foul trouble is an issue with him. He's actually $800 less than Kyle Anderson, but Kyle Anderson's actually going to get consistently big minutes and actually hasn't played that poorly either. So I don't know. Some of these price points are just a little weird.
Like they're both owned at basically 30%, and that's exactly where I think they both should be owned. So I don't have any sort of lean towards either one of those guys. I think Joval, Grayson Allen, and Ja Morant are the guys that are getting like the least amount of respect on DraftKings.
It's been that way for Morant pretty much all series too.
It's been like that for most of the year too.
That's true.
He was probably still like 6,900 coming down the stretch, and he still wasn't getting any love.
Yeah, his floor had just been so ungodly low.
It really was.
That's kind of one of the problems for me. But I think in a game like this, they're down 2-1 in the series. They're at home. Take that for what it's worth. But Morant's going to play 40 plus. There's simply no doubt about that if this game's competitive. And
if he can, he will.
Yep, no doubt. Anyone else for Memphis?
I'm not all that fond of Dillon Brooks on FanDuel, where he's 7,100, but 6,400 on DraftKings is much more in play. He's pulling 23% ownership. Desmond Bane's getting 14% ownership on DraftKings. He would be the guy that I'd be trying to get to from the bench type guys, but no sort of priorities. I can't go to Bane, Melton, Tyus Jones, or Brandon Clark all that aggressively. We saw Clark enter the rotation over top of Tillman for game 3.
Okay. Hey, No House Advantage is the sponsor of the strategy show here. And if you haven't heard about them, or even if you have heard about them but haven't checked them out yet, there's no reason not to do so. Couple reasons for that. First is you get a $20 first match deposit when you sign up and download the app and deposit, whether you download the app, whether you go online, whatever it is. Second, all of the tools that we've built for No House Advantage over at Awesemo, the player projections tool, which is incredible. And like you legitimately could come into this blind and not have to do research and still have a better chance of winning than people that aren't using these tools, because the tools in this day and age, with the amount of competition and the amount of advancements that we've seen in DFS, you need them. The optimal lineups tool is also free, not just today, but every day. You don't even have to be a subscriber. So if you go to No House Advantage, you want to check out their peer-to-peer player prop contest, their player prop platform for NBA, for NFL when it's back, MLB, PGA, all of that for legitimate cash prizes in GPP style form, where you're putting the guys and player props instead of lineups with salary cap into your lineup. So you're building a lineup through these player props, putting the ones up top that you feel most confident about. They get the most points. The ones you're least confident about at the bottom, they get the fewest points. You build your lineup that way. Use the free tools. Take advantage of that, and take advantage of the fact, Josh, we say this all the time, these props are static. They don't change throughout the day based on what type of money or bets are coming in on them. So if you're actually paying close attention, you're cognizant of what's going on throughout the day, you can get so many solid edges playing No House Advantage.
Yeah, everything is lined up for you right now to like grind out a decent chunk of money, whether that's overlay that's going to happen for some of these contests, the fact that we're offering everything for free, deposit bonuses for your first time. It's a really nice way to pick up a little bit of extra loot.
Yep, certainly is. And remember, you want to get the Awesemo avatar, throw it up there for Awesemo Hall of Fame. Do that. We'll be happy to throw you up on the screen. If you want to check everything else that we have at Awesemo, go to awesemo.com/join. All the tools built by the #1 ranked DFS player in the world. And there's plenty of free ones that are usually behind paywall that we want to give you today. The NBA player rankings and MLB top pitchers tool, both entirely free. Again, don't have to be a subscriber. While you're there, check out the No House Advantage tool. Sign up there. Use the Awesemo deposit bonus. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the NBA Strategy Show. Josh, anything else before we go? You want to plug any of those shows you've been doing all day?
Yeah, process show is in the books. I'm going to record the contenders videos now. I was unable to do so earlier. I was sleepy, and now you get some afternoon NBA content instead. Enjoy your holiday as much as you can enjoy it. I don't think we determined what word that was supposed to be, but tune in later to Just Live Before Lock from 6 to 7. You won't need to hear what Lofty has to say from 5 to 6 on the Deeper Dive.
That's really nice of you. Thank you. Happy Memorial Day to everyone, and to everyone who served. We'll see you back here soon on the Strategy Show presented by No House Advantage.